In a dark void that stretches forever sits an upside-down castle. This is the end of space and time. This is the home of the one man who makes the impossible happen. He was once a demon lord, but now he is the ruler of all existence. He is the Omni King Rimuru Tempest. Join us as we witness the birth of a new era where gods are created and universes tremble. This is What If Omni King Rimuru? Rimuru harem in a dark void that seems to stretch on forever. There was an upside-down castle covered in black. The strange thing about the castle was that even though it was in the void with no source of light, you could see it as clear as day. This was the castle at the end of space and time itself, or as it is better known throughout all of existence, the Castle of the Void. The existence of this all-powerful being was the stuff of legends. Some thought he was a myth. Others who knew he existed both feared and respected him, for he was the true ruler of all. He was so powerful that his true body had to be kept in his own infinite space, void god Azathoth. His true body was too overbearing for those in his presence, which is why he had been using a pseudo-body. But even with this body, which didn't even have a quarter of his true power, he was still the strongest being. Sitting on his throne, looking intimidating with his right hand on his forehead, he was contemplating what led up to this. Flashback. A long time ago, while he was still just a god but kept all his responsibility a secret and just kept playing with his friends, he was Rimuru Tempest, the great demon lord that saved the world from destruction. Times were different. He was having fun playing around. Sometimes he and his friends would go to other worlds just to play or even hunt arrogant gods and slaughter them just to alleviate their boredom. They were known as the Octagram. Years after Dagrel's death and after constant complaining, Rimuru decided it was better to bring him back to life so they wouldn't have to settle with a new name. In those days, Rimuru started to live his life being a true species. The first thing he did was convince Seal to give him back his son on the condition that she became his first wife, and he instantly agreed to this. He also made sure that Tempest, his nation, wasn't dependent on him and all his top executives. So after some time, he and all his top subordinates retired at the request of Rimuru, making Tempest a true democracy. This sent shockwaves through the entire world. The people had never experienced something as drastic as this. Many countries tried to capitalize on this, but to no avail. They thought Tempest would be weaker than ever before, but they were sadly mistaken because the residents of Tempest were the highest when it came to education. Rimuru took the black numbers along with his top 12 patrons everywhere he went, having the most fun they could have. Until one day, he told them all that he was giving them a vacation of 20 years. After that, he had something for them to do that he had been putting off for some time. They tried to argue with him, but he just said it was an order, and they all accepted it. Before they left, he told them that when time was up, he would call all of them again. Then they would begin a new journey under him. Some even spent the entire 20 years wondering what their Lord had in store for them and kept it as their eternal joy, contemplating what it could be. When Rimuru gave his subordinates their vacation, he wanted to spend his time living at the palace in Sarian with one of his lovers, Elmesia, the Empress. When the other ladies got wind of this, they made their presence known and just started showing up. Elmesia could only let them be. To be honest, she kind of expected it. The women that practically moved in were Shin, Shuna, and Chloe. There they spent time together with their beloved Rimuru. All those around Rimuru were constantly hammering on what he was planning once the 20-year vacation was over. It got so bad that Guy Crimson decided to hold a Walpurgis, and all the demon lords kept pestering Rimuru, but to no avail. He just kept saying, "Y'all will know when it's the right time to know." So with that, everyone just had to sit back and enjoy the wait. At this time, the 20-year mark slowly came to an end. The first thing Rimuru did was hold a meeting with his subordinates and told them not to talk about this with anyone, and that this order was absolute. No one said anything after that. He took all his demons in the black numbers and placed them in an infinite space and told them to stay for a while, which they did. After that, he brought all the members of the patrons, some of his executives, Chloe and the other kids, Elmesia, her mother Sylvia, along with Irald, Elen, Gazel Dwargo, and his 5 commanders to a castle at the end of space and time. The castle was perfectly in the middle of a pink nebula that Rimuru made to give it more color. Along with them came the members of the Octagram and the 3 remaining true dragons. Some felt complete horror while some were amazed by what they saw. All of a sudden, the castle doors went open, showing a man that they all recognized. He was Diablo, the Black Primordial. Greetings, everyone. I'm glad that you have all shown up for today's glorious meeting that will shake the foundation of all creation, Diablo said. When he said that, all of a sudden the air became tense. The butler simply ignored them and continued. So with that, I ask all of you to follow me, Diablo said. Everyone just remained silent and followed the Black Primordial. When they entered the palace, they were all in awe and couldn't stop looking around. The palace was completely out of this world. It was unlike anything they had ever seen. The color scheme consisted of black, gray, white, and gold. They were aware of just what this meant. These colors represented the one man they have all known very well, the man who can make the impossible happen. He was the god of all that is, was, and will always be. But they all agreed a long time ago that it's just better to refer to him as the Omni King Rimuru. As they all arrived at the meeting hall, they saw Rimuru's top subordinates all sitting down, and the air around them was even more tense. Those who knew them well suddenly grasped the seriousness of the situation, because those guys were always in a good mood, just like Rimuru. Diablo pointed everyone to a seat, the rulers and their subordinates sitting as equals while waiting for the man that called this meeting. Suddenly, the side doors opened, revealing the host of this domain, Rimuru Tempest himself. But his appearance was far different from the one they were accustomed to seeing. The silence put them on edge because gone was the long hair. He no longer looked like a high schooler, and his demon lord clothing that everyone was so used to seeing was completely gone. Instead, there stood a man who looked about 25 years of age with short hair, stylishly short around the sides and long at the top of his head, making his bangs hang over his eyes but not too much. He had on this amazing black suit that contrasted beautifully with his snow-white skin. Gone were the days he would be mistaken for a woman. He was still extremely beautiful, but it was obvious he was a man. He walked elegantly toward the front of the meeting hall. Everyone was just mesmerized by his sheer presence. Normally he would hide it, but he was letting his divinity cover his body with just a slight sky-blue color around him. Finally he spoke. "Look, I look pretty badass, right?" Guy Crimson replied, "Seriously, you had us all on edge just for that. Not cool, bro." Milim laughed. "Haha, you crack me up." Ramirez added, "Come on, Rimuru, you got a super cool look without me." Luminous asked, "Did you seriously bring us here just to talk about your new look?" All of a sudden, everyone started laughing because it was just like Rimuru to do something like this. Elmesia spoke up. "So, Rimuru, what's the real reason you asked us to come here? Because we've been patiently waiting for 20 years to find out what you've been scheming." All of them nodded. Rimuru pouted. "Man, you guys are not fun anymore. You're all too serious." Gazel Dwargo chuckled. "Haha. Yes, the real reason I brought you all here is to talk about me," Rimuru said. "You all know I'm a god, right?" Everyone cheered. "Well, it's time for me to take responsibility for it, even though I don't want to," Rimuru said. Leon asked, "And what do you mean by that?" "Well, someone has to watch over all in existence to make sure it doesn't destroy itself," Rimuru explained. Guy asked, "So basically, what my job is in the cardinal world?" "Yes and no," Rimuru replied. Dagrul asked for an explanation. "Well, I can easily do that and be a perfect mediator of the Omniverse, but that would be problematic," Rimuru said. Ramirez agreed. "Yeah, it would take a toll on everyone." "Exactly," Rimuru said. "That's where you all come in." Velzard and Velgrind asked, "What do you mean?" "Well, that's what brings you all here, because I have a favor to ask you all," Rimuru said. That's when the hall went completely silent. "Would you all like to become gods and goddesses and their attendants to help me govern over all? Look, I know it is a big favor to ask, but I assure you that in whatever domain I bestow on you, I will personally create a world for your people to live in. Also, you will all get your palace on the edge of your domain where you can watch over all and interact with them. Of course, I will give you all the power and evolve you all into the same level of existence as the pseudobody I'm using, giving you all the power to govern over your domain and to make sure it doesn't collapse on itself," Rimuru said. They were all silent. "All of you will be put into 3 categories," Rimuru continued. "First, the god of destruction. As the name implies, you are in charge of destroying things that threaten your domain from falling out of balance, whether it's people, plants, or even a universe. If it threatens the balance, destroy it. Second, the gods of creation will be in charge of creating new things, life, worlds, even universes. Last but not least, those who will be their attendants, who will help them carry out their divine mission. So, ladies and gentlemen, I know it is a lot. That's why I'm giving you all 1 month to come up with your answers. I'll call you all then to hear your answer. Trust me, I've done my utmost to consider your point of view. That's why I've tried to lighten your burden. After all, some of you are rulers with your people, so please take this time and consider it. I'll call you all in a month." After that, Rimuru left the meeting hall, not wanting to be near them because this was their decision. After the shock, some started to go back to normal, and they all went back to their respective territories. After the guests had left, Rimuru went back to the meeting hall where his subordinates were. "So, you guys got a heads up a month ago. May I please know your answers?" Benimaru spoke first. "At first, I thought it would be a problem, but you made sure to consider our situation, and I thank you for allowing me to bring my family, Lord Rimuru. Because of that, I promise to only give you the best results in my domain. I'll watch my respective domain." He bowed in front of his master. Rimuru did not say anything except nod his head. What Benimaru said, he felt the same way. The demon trio all bowed. "It would be our pleasure to serve you, great Rimuru." Zijin and Apito said, "Us as well, Lord Rimuru." "I already created a world for the insectoids in your domain," Rimuru told them. Zijin replied, "Thank you, my lord. I will make sure to take care of this task without fail." Kumara said, "I will make you proud, master." "I know you will," Rimuru said. Geld, Adalman, Shin, Shuna, Chloe, Gabil, Ryota, Alice, and Kenya accepted his offer. Rimuru was so proud of his students. "We will live up to your expectations, Lord Rimuru," they said, nodding their heads. "Excellent, I'm glad," Rimuru said. "Now let us wait for the others to make their decisions." "Yes, Rimuru-sama," they all replied. 1 month later. In Guy's palace, Velzard said, "Man, I was not expecting that." Rain agreed, that was something else. Misery just kept quiet, thinking about it over and over again. The other members that participated in the meeting were in the same state. They just kept thinking about all the information they received for the entire month. The respective leaders were just thinking about the answer. And just like that, an entire month passed. It was finally time for their answers. Back in the meeting hall, Rimuru asked, "So, may I know your answers?" Guy stood up and walked forward toward Rimuru. Once he got there and looked him straight in the eyes, he said, "I just have one request." "And that is?" Rimuru asked. "I would like to watch over the domain that has the cardinal world in it," Guy said. Rimuru just smiled. "I figured you'd say that. That's why it has already been done." Hearing this, Guy smiled and looked at Velzard, Rain, and Misery. They also stepped forward, and all 4 of them bowed in front of Rimuru. "As of today, I pledge my loyalty to the Omni King, Rimuru Tempest. We accept your offer, my lord," Guy said. Everyone looked at the display in front of them. Guy and the three stood up. Finally, Dino spoke. Yeah, we all accept your deal. Let's get this show on the road. Elmesia said, as of today, we are all in your care, Lord Rimuru. And just like that, they all bowed in front of Rimuru. Inside the throne room, they were all bowed in front of him. Now then, it's time to bring you all up to the power of this pseudo-body of mine, Rimuru said. You might gain unparalleled power, but you all will have the same amount. You will all be equal in rank and power. All those who would be gods were in front, and those who would be attendants were at the back. Of course, the attendants would be weaker, but not by much. The partners were on the opposite side. Rimuru looked at them and smiled. This is the beginning of a new era. Remember this day. Seal, do it, Rimuru commanded. Notice, evolution of all those that have been chosen by the Omni King Rimuru Tempest, starting now, evolving into a higher being of existence. Suddenly, a black cloud surrounded them. During their evolution, their entire being changed. Their flesh became as hard as void steel, and their power was constantly increasing. It got to the point where their attendants could not sense them anymore. If they weren't in front of them, they would have never known they were there. This was only natural, considering they evolved into true gods, gods that are directly under their Supreme One. Once they were done, they all fell asleep. Rimuru walked over to those who would be the attendants of the gods. It's your duty to help them in whatever they need. Take care of each other. You will be working as a team. Yes, Lord Rimuru, they all replied. Then Seal evolved them too. Once they all woke up, Rimuru changed the way they all dressed. Now they were all wearing matching clothing, white for the gods of creation and black for the gods of destruction. All the attendees had on dark green attire, clothing like the Dragon Ball super god of destruction clothing. Once they were all done, Seal teleported them and their people to their respective domains. On that day, most of the nations of the cardinal world and the rulers left only human nations behind. Sitting in his office, Rimuru thought about those who would stay with him: Shuna, Shin, Chloe, Diablo, Carrara, Ultima, and Testarossa. The 7 of them would help him keep an eye on everyone, and they'd be responsible for ordering the black numbers for him. All the members of the black numbers were out working now, overseeing everyone's universes and reporting back. The only ones who were allowed to come and go from the Palace of the Void were Shuna, Shin, Chloe, Diablo, Carrara, Ultima, Testarossa, and Rimuru himself. If anyone wanted a meeting or had something to report, they would have to contact one of them first. Currently, Rimuru was sitting in front of the TV watching movies on Netflix when Shuna came in. So, that was a success, Lord Rimuru. Yeah, I just hope they spread my name nice and far. I do not want any idiot not knowing who I am, Rimuru replied. Chloe just chuckled. Trust me, I know they'll spread your name far and wide. Well, let's hope so. I am the Omni King now, and people need to put respect on my name, Rimuru said. Said the guy who first went around playing before taking his job seriously, Chloe teased. Shuna and Chloe just chuckled. You know what? I'm not even going to argue, Rimuru said. Suddenly, Testarossa walked in. Hey Tess, can you give me a report on everyone's universe? Rimuru asked. Of course, Lord Rimuru. Universe 1 is known as the DC Universe. Universe 2 is the Cardinal Universe. Universe 3 is the One Piece Universe. Universe 4 is the Fairy Tale Universe. Universe 5 is the Naruto Universe. Universe 6 is the Bleach Universe. Universe 7 is the Dragon Ball Universe. Universe 8 is the Marvel Universe. Universe 9 is the One Punch Man Universe. Universe 10 is... I know this one. It is the Smoking Hot Elf Universe, Rimuru said with a smirk. Seal commented, Not funny, master. Oh, jealous much? Rimuru asked. It is just your behavior, Seal replied. Testarossa continued, I'm still waiting for the others to report about the other universes, my lord. It is fine. We have all the time in the world now. If you will excuse me, I'll be going to sleep. You ladies are free to join me if you want, Rimuru said. As he walked to his bed, the girls just looked at each other before running after him. In another location, a high-ranking demon named Moss contacted Testarossa. Lady Testarossa, I have finished my assignment in gathering the names of each universe. I'll be sending them to you right now. In the Palace of the Void, Testarossa replied, Oh, I see. I'll report to Lord Rimuru as soon as he wakes up. Keep up the good work, Moss. Failure is not an option. As she cut the communication crystal, unbeknownst to Moss, Testarossa was already near Rimuru. She was in his arms in the middle of the bed. To Rimuru's right were Testarossa, Shuna, and Shin. To his left were Carrara, Ultima, and Chloe. So Tess, what did Moss report? Rimuru asked. As you wish, starting with Universe 10, Testarossa said. Rimuru started laughing. Universe 10 is the Mushoku Tensei universe. Universe 11 is the Jujutsu Kaisen universe. Universe 12 is the Black Clover universe. Universe 13 is the Demon Slayer universe. Universe 14 is the Rei Zero universe. Universe 15 is the Overlord universe. And lastly, Universe 16 is the Avatar universe, Testarossa reported. Man, things are starting to get interesting. I can't wait to visit all these places. The sheer excitement is making my non-existent heart pound, Rimuru said. It does sound interesting, Shuna agreed. Carrara added, I know, right? And on top of that, we get to be with Lord Rimuru wherever he goes. Ahaha. But first we have to wait until everyone gets settled in their new position, Chloe said. Shin added, Chloe is right about that, and once they do, we will go and have fun, Rimuru said. But anyway, I better get up. Testarossa pouted. Just 5 more minutes, Rimuru-sama. I'm sorry, but I got to get up, Rimuru said. That's when all the girls attacked him. Control yourselves, ladies. Hey, get your hand out of my pants. I swear I'm the Omni King. No way, ladies, please stop. But it was too late. In the dining room, Diablo sighed. Oh, I'm so envious. If only Lord Rimuru didn't see me as a man, I could easily change my gender, but he always refuses me. I should ask him again. Kyufufufu. Universe 1. God of Destruction, Veldora. God of Creation, Ramirez. So this is our domain, huh? Veldora asked. It sure is, Ramirez replied. As expected of my brother Rimuru, ha ha ha. Not only did he create all these universes, but they are also exciting, and some of them have been inspired by manga, anime, and comics. What an awesome guy. Come on, Ramirez, let's go, Veldora said. Trainee and Cherries will be coming with us, Ramirez said. Beretta, you stay here and take care of our palace. As you command, my lady, Beretta said. All right, Trainee, take us to this universe's Earth, Ramirez ordered. Yes, my lady, Trainee replied. Suddenly, they all were covered in bright light and disappeared. Planet Earth. Outside the atmosphere in the watchtower. In front of a bunch of monitors stood a man with green skin, the Martian Manhunter. Next to him stood one of the biggest figures of the Justice League, the Dark Knight himself, Batman. Suddenly, the doors flew open. It was the Man of Steel, Superman. I heard the alarms from Metropolis, so what's going on? Suddenly, a red streak came in, the Flash. Something is on its way here. Our deep space sensors picked something up, and it's moving here with great speed. Wonder Woman said, well, whatever it is, we better get ready for the worst-case scenario. Green Lantern John Stewart added, you're right, we need to be ready just in case. How long before it gets here? Superman asked. Suddenly, a voice came from behind all of them. We're already here. This reply caused all the members inside the monitoring room to freeze up. When they turned around, they saw 4 people. 2 were incredibly beautiful women, and the other 2 were handsome males. Trainee spoke. I'm sorry for our intrusion. We just got a little curious, that's all. but please allow me to introduce His Majesty, the God of Destruction, Lord Veldora, and the Goddess of Creation, Her Majesty, Lady Ramirez. Everyone in the entire room was shaken to their core. All the gods they had encountered were trouble, but unbeknownst to them, those were all a bunch of self-proclaimed gods. The two in front of them were the real deal. Suddenly, the blonde-haired man walked forward. "Ha, they all look like they've seen a ghost. I am Rimuru Tempest, the god of destruction of Universe 1, meaning this universe. There's no need to be scared. I'm not here to judge anyone. I'm simply traveling through our domain with my partner, that's all." Veldora was trying to sound cool in front of these mortals. "Yeah, don't worry, we are only traveling a bit," Ramirez said. Her voice was so beautiful and soft that it calmed them down. All of a sudden, a man with a golden helmet teleported into the room. As he looked at the four figures, he walked and stopped right in front of them and immediately took a knee. "It is our honor to welcome you here, my lords. My name is Nabu, and it's a pleasure to be able to be in your lofty presence," Dr. Fate said. The other members were even quieter now. All of a sudden, the rest of the Justice League members heard a voice through their mind link. "Kneel if you all want to live," Dr. Fate commanded. They all immediately went on their knees. "Oh, so one of you knows who we are. I did not expect that," Ramirez said. "Me too, I was expecting a bit of resistance, you know. But whatever," Veldora said. As he walked forward, he asked, "So, how do you know us?" "A few years ago, all the books were rewritten by some strange force, and all kept saying the same thing. The Omni King and his followers, those that bring destruction and creation. And all those who wanted to be gods have all been quiet, not even referring to themselves as gods to escape your divine wrath," Dr. Fate explained. All the members of the Justice League were quiet. They knew how arrogant some of those self-proclaimed gods were, and if they were this scared of them, just how powerful were they? "Haha, I see. Well, I'm glad to hear it. Seeing as you know how to show respect for our position, I will allow you all to stand in our presence," Veldora said. "Your kindness knows no bounds," Dr. Fate said. Veldora just smiled. This was the kind of praise he was missing, so he was in a good mood. Ramirez just looked at him with a grin. "Please ignore Veldora. He is just trying to look holy. And don't praise him too much or his head will burst," Ramirez said. Trainee and Cherries laughed. Everyone just looked at them. "Hey, don't do that, Ramirez. You're killing my aura in front of the mortals," Veldora complained. "You're such a pain in the—" "Finish that sentence and I'll tell Rimuru you're being mean to me," Ramirez threatened. All of a sudden, the atmosphere got heavy. The members of the Justice League were trying to erase their presence in the room. "Wait, Ramirez, you're being unreasonable here. There's no need to do all that. Please, I'm sorry," Veldora said, panicking. "That's better," Ramirez said. All of them were shocked. A being that was so overpowered a minute ago had been reduced to a state of panic because of a name. "Excuse me, but can I ask who Rimuru is, my lady?" Dr. Fate asked. Trainee, Veldora, and Ramirez all answered at once. "That is Lord Rimuru to you mortals." Dr. Fate went back to his knees. "Forgive me."